So we're finally here, the final chapter of the Tokyo Blades arc. While it was originally planned as 6 chapters, we have narrowed it down to 4 chapters and 2 shadow chapters, meaning events that did occur but might have never been expanded upon unless we had more time and the ability to do it. So let's talk about the potential second shadow chapter first, based on the fight between Taiki and Gao. It's a big loss not to be able to show Taiki's power off, since we did build it up, and the idea was that each of the new BBA team would get their own challenge with the Tokyo Blades. Taiki is meant as a way bigger threat than the other Tokyo Blades. He's also the only one of them that has mastered the HMS system. His Beyblade Mukade Metal Shredder represents a new step in Beyblade technology. The idea is that the parts of his blade move separately, like there's a space between the attack ring, the weight disc and the blade base. When he rips his blade, it starts an engine gear that spins the attack ring and the blade base separately from the weight disc. The advantage of this is that inside the blade, there's a form of electromagnet that Taiki is in control of, sending out magnetic waves through the weight disc. One issue with this that people might bring up is that the other separated pieces would be stopped from spinning by the magnet itself, but think of it as being directed outwards like on this image. The control of the electromagnet brings great advantages in battle. For example, when you imagine a lodestone, there's a side that attracts the metal and a side that repels it. If Mukade moved forth with the attack taking out the Beyblades in front of him, he could draw them into the attack with the magnet. Then, if somebody tried to attack him from behind, Taiki could unleash the repelling quality on the opposite side of the weight disc, thus making it impossible to attack. In theory, he could switch this ability at will, making it all attraction drawing all of the blades towards him, or repelling him, making it literally impossible for them to attack. This would have become known as Taiki's ultimate defense and one of the many things that he is famous for. There's a limit to this power, however. Inside Mukade, there'd have to be a small energy container, like a form of a battery, so he'd have to use this ability wisely. He would not be able to release it on fodder, but he'd have to savour it for the right moment. Of course, many would question the legality of this blade, and they would be right to do so, but this would not be the first time someone used questionable methods. Anyway, Taiki would have been given one final chance to prove himself to Skeleton by defeating Gao. This would have been a heavy focus of Taiki's motivation. During the fight, I imagine you could have Kenny watching, analysing Mukade so the viewers understand how it works. As Gao would use his Spinal Furnace attack to finish it quickly, Gao would instead be caught inside Taiki's special attack, the Lodestone Shed. This is when a blade is drawn to Mukade's weight disc as he uses these spinning claws, tearing into the blade at high speed. This would make him lose a few of his thorns, making it impossible to do another full-scale Spiral Furnace. After this, he'd need to weaken Taiki enough so he could take him out with an Ardor Arrow attack. Since attacks from above is the only thing Taiki can't fend against, therefore earning Gao the victory. After the battle, one of Skeleton's underlings will be watching from the shadows, saying, "It went exactly as you predicted. He did get cornered for a while, but eventually he came through, and from what I can tell, he did indeed increase his power throughout the fight." To which Skeleton would answer, "Excellent. The Master will be very pleased. You did excellent work, spreading the rumour of the Blue Dragon's return, leading Gao here." The stranger will continue, "Thank you, Master Sir, but what do we do with Taiki and the gang now that they've lost?" Skeleton continues talking. "The Brotherhood has no use for weak insects in its ranks. They have outlived their purpose. Exterminate them, every last one. After that, I have a new mission for you." The person answers smiling, "Fine by me." Like many things in these narration videos, we leave it open for future improvements. These events and this fight could be a chapter of its own combined with Makoto's upcoming training with Tyson, or it could be in the beginning of this final chapter of the Tokyo Blade arc. So, without further ado, let's start. Chapter 4, Fated Battle, 20 years later. So we're finally here at the end of the arc, and the moment when we're finally caught up to the official manga. You heard me right, this chapter will be inspired and heavily influenced by the events shown in the final chapter of the manga. So a special thanks must go to Takao Aoki himself for making the chapter that inspired this story. The chapter should start off with a chopper landing on the roof of a building. Executives and business types would run up to the chopper in surprise that he's arrived. And out he jumps, wearing sunglasses and a bandana. "Mr. Sumeragi, sir, we are so glad you could make it, and we are truly honoured to have you here with us on this special occasion." one of the executives says while bowing his head in respect to the big shot standing before them. Daichi walks through the wind, removing his shades with a cocky smile. Come on, guys. Tonight's a special day. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Neither would I, a voice says while a new character wearing a suit steps down. The executives are in complete shock, recognising the face, thinking, no way. In the next shot, Makoto is training inside the dome's locker room, preparing for battle. He runs along a thick trench, focusing his Beyblade to spin between various metal bars and obstacles, some of them moving while others stand still. Put more focus into the battle. It's only an hour away, a voice says from the side. I can't afford to lose this, Makoto calls on his blade to make it go faster, charging through the difficult field. There's a rival I must defeat, no matter what, Makoto says with a determined look, envisioning Gao before him. Go Dragoon! Makoto says, sending Dragoon full force straight through the course, finishing it with glee. Tyson clenches his fists in excitement. Good, Makoto. Your power and speed are increasing. Makoto turns to his father with a fiery look. Thanks, Dad. You two seem in good spirits, a familiar voice says. It's Kenny, standing on the other side of the room, recording the progress. I hope the repairs I made to Dragoon MSUV are all up to par. Makoto points at Kenny in shock. It's the rambling Chin Carpet guy. He's the one that repaired Dragoon? Chin Carpet is a reference to Kenny's beard that he's now rocking. This remark, of course, dismotivates poor Kenny. Chin Carpet guy, huh? I happen to like my new beard. It's very manly, he comments with a sad face as Tyson adds in. I heard you've already met each other. Anyway, this is the chief, the one I've been telling you so much about. Makoto looks on in amazement. No way! You're the infamous chief? For real? Kenny blushes in embarrassment. Well, my name is Kenny, but as long as you don't call me Chin Carpet, we're fine. Thinking to himself, there's no way I can pick up ladies if I get known as Professor Chin Carpet. Makoto grabs Kenny's hand and shakes it, continuing, You have a deal. As long as you promise to keep repairing my blade as awesome as you did before. And yeah, while we're at it, why don't you make me a new launcher and attack ring and all that other cool stuff you used to make for my dad? I need all the help I can get to win this battle. Kenny removes his hand from Makoto's, sweating nervously. Maybe later. Tyson looks a bit mad. Hey Makoto, don't be rude, and you forgot to thank him for fixing Dragoon. Kenny looks nervous. Tyson, it's alright, really. Then he whispers, just please let me talk with you in private for a bit. Makoto looks confused as Kenny and Tyson move off into the corner, turning their backs towards him. Tyson looks curious. What is it? Kenny answers whispering, I just finished the analysis of the new material you sent me. Look! Makoto looks on confused as to what they're talking about. I wonder if they're making up battle plans. Kenny looks at Tyson seriously. See? This is why you shouldn't lead the kid on. He's a great blader, but this is serious, Tyson. Tyson gets up and picks off his old cap from his pocket. I am serious, Kenny. Kenny looks on in surprise as Tyson brings up the old cap. Tyson walks up to Makoto. Makoto, I have something I want to give to you. Makoto looks honoured as Tyson moves down and hands him the old cap. Dad, Makoto says as Tyson continues, this is the cap I used to wear through all my battles. And now, I want you to have it. Tyson looks into his son's eyes while putting the cap on. Make me proud, son. Makoto fixes the cap and spins it around. Dad, I'm going to try my hardest at today's battle. He looks up in fiery determination once more. And I'll win it. For you, Dad. Gao stands in the locker room, looking at the poster of their upcoming battle. Gao versus Makoto. Gao looks serious, thinking, that kid again? Suddenly, there's a knock on the door and Gao turns around. Huh? The door opens and in walks a man wearing heavy boots. As Gao looks on in surprise. It's you? Behind him stands the adult Spencer, wearing a new outfit and suitcase. Spencer, what business does one of the headmasters of the infamous BeyUK Abbey have attending the Japanese preliminaries? Gao looks mad. If you think you're gonna bring me back to the Abbey, you can forget about it. I'm not here to bring you back. I was sent here to help you win, Spencer says, with an unflinching expression. Gao looks surprised, Not sure what to think as Spencer puts the suitcase down. Your father sent me here to give you this. He opens the suitcase and inside it lays the brand new Jonza MF. This is the latest in Beyblade technology, the new MF series, the most advanced form of HMS Blade ever made. It's more powerful than the infamous MSUV branch, and your father wants you to be the first to wield it. Gal looks down at his new Beyblade in suspicion. What's the catch? Dad has never cared about me or my battles, so why now? Spencer looks him calmly. That's not true. Your father is here right now, watching your upcoming fight. Gal looks extremely shocked. Dad is here now? What's going on? Spencer sighs and tries to explain. Gal, you shouldn't be so hard on your father. Kai is one of the most influential businessmen the world has ever known. Ever since he inherited the Hiwatari Corporation, he has funded the bulk of Abbey, and then, when Mr. Dickinson entrusted him with the BBA, not to mention the purchase of the PPB research facilities, his company have turned into a mighty business empire, the likes of which you can't imagine. It's expected he'll be very busy. Gal stares with great contempt. The great Kai Hiwatari, it's the story of my life. Always too busy. I bet you're going to tell me he was too busy to care when my mum left too. Well, you can't. I don't need his help with anything. I'm fine on my own. Spencer looks shocked as Gal's about to leave, reaching out his hand. Wait, Gal. Your opponent could be stronger than you think. Take the blade. Sources just told us the boy you're facing is the son of Tyson Granger. What? Gal's eyes opened wide. Spencer looks on, trying to explain things. Tala thought it'd be a good idea to be on the safe side, as did your father. Granger can be very unpredictable. Gal yells with great anger. That's why Dad came? To make sure I defeated his rival's son? Spencer sweats. That's not true. Gal looks up with burning fury. As for you, Tala doesn't think I can beat this brat, does he? He's scared I'll soil the precious reputation of his beloved Abbey. Gal looks down at Jonza MF. Gal looks up again. Isn't that so? Spencer speaks. Gal, we just want to help. Gal continues. Well, I've got news for you. I've already beat this punk once, and I beat him bad. As for that blade, you can take it and shove it. Gal kicks down the suitcase, making the blade fall on the ground. Spencer looks shocked. Gal picks his blade from his pocket. I'm going to defeat Makoto on my own terms. Gal heads out with a bitter face. I don't need your help. Spencer stands behind him, looking disappointed. Outside, the battle's preparing to start as Tyson and Kenny are walking down the stairs to their front row seats. They are seated by the side of Nori and Rin. Tyson introduces them. Kenny shakes both their hands. Pleased to meet you. I'm Kenny. Hold on. Rin? That means you're... Rin smiles at him. Yes, I'm pleased to meet you too. Tyson speaks while taking his seat on the edge. I was surprised too when I found out. Kenny sits down thinking. To imagine, Ray's daughter is gonna be on the... Welcome everyone to this end of the 35th annual preliminary rounds. The crowd cheers like crazy, all except for one guy that looks on with an empty glare as Daichi continues. I'm DJ Daichi, and I'll be your host on this very special day. Daichi raises his arms in the air, screaming out, Are you all pumped? Tyson looks on with a proud smile. Daichi's getting really good at being the DJ. Daichi speaks on the screen. This year's tournament has had many powerful battles thus far, but it's all come down to this special matchup. Kai sits down inside the VIP room, quietly, without his face being shown as Daichi is talking. 20 years ago, two of the strongest blades the world has ever known faced off on this very day. Tyson looks on in awe. That's why I'm proud to present a special dish to honour their historical battle. The Vermilion Azure Showdown Stadium. The floor opens up, revealing the dish with a thick stone wall surrounding it, and at the centre, two statues of Jonza and Dragoon facing each other. Based on the mythical Vermilion Bird and the Azure Dragon, inspired by the legendary battle between Kai and Tyson. The crowd cheer like crazy. but there's one guy just sitting there with a gloomy face. Daichi continues, "And there's more, folks. Both of these two legends are here today to watch this historical moment." Tyson stands up saying, "What? Kai is here?" Kenny looks shocked. "No way!" Daichi continues, "The great Hiwatari is watching from the usual VIP room, and you have the infamous Tyson Granger humbly watching from the front seats, so give them both a huge round of applause from all of us here." As the applause and cheers pour in, Tyson looks up at the VIP with a hint of nostalgia. "I haven't seen Kai in so long. I can't believe he's here." Kenny smiles too, feeling touched that this day has come. "Neither can I." Daichi continues talking on the big screen. "And the surprises don't end there. The final battle has come down to their two sons. First off, give a huge round of applause to the boy that surprised us all, with his fiery spirit defeating the former tag team duo, riding his way up to the top. Makoto Granger!" Makoto walks in, waving to the cheers with a happy face, thinking, "I can't believe I finally made it." And his opponent, whose cool, calculating fighting style that proved even too much for our beloved champion Kaiki Ichihara. Give a round of applause for the new Beyblade superstar. Gal walks inside calmly with a serious look on his face as the crowd cheers like crazy. "Gal Hiwatari!" Makoto stands by the stadium with a focused look, thinking, "Gal!" Gal walks on slowly towards Makoto and smiles eagerly. "I must admit, I'm very surprised to see you here. It goes without saying you're far stronger than I imagined, since you managed to make it all the way to the finals." Gal continues walking up the stairs, drawing his launcher hungry for battle. "But this is as far as you'll go." "We'll see about that," Makoto says, as he stares Gal down, drawing his launcher as well. "You're eager to face him again, aren't you, Dragoon?" Makoto whispers as he picks up his blade from his pocket, and the bit chip shines as Makoto finishes his sentence. Gal looks at his blade as his bit chip is shining too. "Something strange is going on." Gal smiles cockily. "You must be as eager to win as I am." Rin sits down holding Drigger, looking at the bit chip shining, thinking, "Drigger?" She looks forward at the contenders, thinking, "There's no doubt about it. This battle is different from the last. I can feel it." Daichi keeps on talking. "I hope all you people in the audience are feeling the tension, and all you people at home as well. We're broadcasting live around the world for this once-in-a-lifetime special event." Meanwhile, in the USA, Max is training with a student not shown on the screen. "Keep working on that defense, Jeremy. And Emily, increase the power. I want to see how..." Max stops talking and picks up his blade as Drasil MSUV's bit chip is shining. "Drasil?" Emily looks at him confused. "Max, what's going on?" Max looks at his bay saying, "I've not felt this way since... Meanwhile, in China, hundreds of bladers are practicing their repping skills, standing disciplined in a row, wearing white tiger outfits. "Ray, what are you looking at? Why are you suddenly spacing out?" Mariah asks, standing behind him. Ray stands with the wind flowing through him, looking at the sky. "I just had this odd feeling. It feels as though..." Meanwhile, in Russia, Ryan walks by a bunch of kids watching on a small television, and his jaw drops. Brian hurries to Tala's office and bursts down the door. "Tala, you have to come see this." Tala sits in the shadows with a grim look on his face. "I'm already watching." And then we return to the battle, Daichi counting down to the launch. 3. Gale raises his launcher with a look of madness. "I'm gonna trash you harder than I ever did before." 2. Makoto raises his launcher too, with a look of anger. "I'd like to see you try." 1. They both rip their blades, screaming wildly, "Let it rip!" The three blades face in the centre, instantly in a powerful clash with sparks flying high everywhere. Both Gao and Makoto stare at each other, angrily, both pushing to get the upper hand of the other. The two blades push so hard against each other that they both slide sideways and start circling the stadium as the bladers stare down at each other. DJ Daichi screams, "Amazing! These guys aren't holding anything back, going all out straight from the start." Gao and Makoto look at each other, biting together as their bays circle faster and faster. Suddenly, They both slide in and face each other in the centre again, creating a huge burst of wind around them from the impact of the collision. The impact of the wind is so strong that Daichi falls back a little. Gao looks angry at Makoto, trying to push him down. "Is that all you've got?" Makoto gets angry, calling out, "Far from it! Dragoon!" Kenny gets up in complete shock. "What?" Dragoon hastily flies up from the blade and Dragoon MSUV gets a crazy power boost, pushing Dronza back. Gao backs away in shock. Rin jumps up screaming, "Go Makoto!" Dragoon continues pushing Dronza back as Daichi calls out, "Incredible! The underdog Makoto is actually pushing back the new fan favourite, Gao, into a corner." Dragoon slams Dronza towards the wall, but Dronza stops the push right there before the hit is made. Kenny looks really nervous, trying to find reason. "Is he crazy? You can't release Dragoon straight off the bat like that. It's too soon." Tyson watches silently thinking, "Makoto." Makoto's face is filled up with pure fury as the Bey is held back. Gao looks up calmly. "So you've gained the acceptance of the Dragoon bit?" Makoto yells out, "That's right, I'm not the same guy you fought before." Makoto looks at him mockingly. "So tell me, do you really think you're gonna be able to win because of that?" Makoto comments, filled with anger, "I'll defeat you no matter what it takes." Gao smiles. "Your confidence would almost be admirable if it weren't so stupid. If you honestly think that mastering your bit beast is going to make any difference at all." Gao gets angry. "Then you're sadly mistaken. Dronza!" A burst of red light charges from the blade. It's Dronza, and in a single moment, Dragoon MSUV is struck away in a powerful counterattack, flying away like it was nothing. Makoto steps back in shock from the red light. The Dragoon bit is being attacked by the infamous Dronza once again, burning with fire for revenge and victory. Gao calls out, raising his hand ready to attack. "I don't have time to play around with amateurs. Dronza, Spiral Furnace!" He swings his hand down, and the red strings of fire appear from the thorns of his blade, spinning like spirals. Daichi raises his mic, screaming, "No way! Gao is using his special move!" Before Makoto knew it, Dronza slams into Dragoon MSUV, pushing it back at high speed. Makoto raises his arms, trying to hold back in panic. "Push back, Dragoon!" Dronza pushes on with a shining red light everywhere as the strings strike into Dragoon like powerful whips of fire. Makoto's eyes open wide in horror, thinking, "I can't hold him back." Gao screams out, "It's over! Dronza, finish him!" Dronza strikes Dragoon away and sends Makoto flying away, far onto the floor, while Dragoon MSUV flies into the thick stone wall of the stadium, with a huge clash breaking it into pieces and smoke flying everywhere. Rin gets up in shock. "Makoto!" Nori pulls his hair. "It can't be over." DJ Daichi raises his mic. Is it over already?" Dronza moves out the smoke and spins in front of Gao, standing behind there looking cool. He turns around, looking up towards the toned windows of the VIP room, smiling, thinking, "Hope you're watching, Dad. How does it feel to see me defeat the blade that you can never beat?" Right as he thinks that, Makoto calls out, "Not so fast." Gao's eyes open wide in surprise. No way. As he turns around, he sees the shadow of the mighty Dragoon standing in the shadows. The smoke hastily gets dispersed due to the powerful spinning force of Dragoon MSUV, increasing within the blink of a second, standing in the rubble of the Great Wall. Daichi grabs his mic and screams out, "Would you believe it? Dragoon is still spinning!" Makoto struggles up and dusts his clothes off with a cocky smile. "That was quite a hit. I almost thought you had me for a second." Makoto walks back to the dish calmly as Gao looks mad, thinking, "That bastard! He tricked me into wasting my strongest move, wanting to take him out quickly." He turns his eyes towards the VIP room, then turns his eyes back towards Makoto. "Don't think this is over." Makoto changes from smiling to serious, noticing Gao's looking in the same direction a lot. Nori gets up and shouts, "Oh yeah, Makoto! You can do it! You can beat this guy! Show him who's boss!" Kenny sits in still, looking on his computer, analysing the battle, sweating. We have a problem, Tyson." Both Rin and Nori turn around, Rin asking, "Huh? A problem?" Tyson looks serious as Kenny continues speaking. "Tyson, do you remember the data I analysed? Well now, As I'm analysing the power of their blades directly, I can finally confirm it. Nori adds in, what are you talking about? Kenny looks up nervously. It's all in the way Gal rips his blade. No, not only that spin rate, the control, the force of his attacks. In every single way, Gal is twice as powerful as Makoto. Rin gets angry. What are you talking about? Makoto obviously did very good against him straight from the start. That's exactly it. In the beginning of every big battle, any serious blader knows not to waste all of his strength right from the start. You hold back and savour your power for the right moment. That's not what happened when they clashed at the start of this fight. Makoto went all out, while Gal did not, thus creating the illusion that they're equal. There's only been a single instance of Gal using his full power, and that was during his final furnace attack. Dragoon survived because Gal lost his patience and used it too soon. In other words, the only reason Dragoon is spinning so strongly still is just due to his spirit alone. No matter how much I search, I can't find a single answer. There's not a single way Makoto can win this. Tyson sits with his arm crossed, looking mad, biting together. I still believe in him. Kenny looks at Tyson, pleading, and says, Tyson, I understand how you must be feeling, but there's no way Makoto can take a blader that is just twice as powerful as he is. He can't pull off a miracle. He's not you, Tyson, and Dragoon might be damaged beyond repair if he continues this battle. Tyson looks mad. I don't care. I have no clue why Dragoon chose my son, but he did. I'm going to believe in him, and I'm going to continue believing him, just like I will always believe in Dragoon. Just watch them. Kenny looks speechless. Tyson. Back at the stadium, the two rivals are staring each other down, both waiting for the other to make his move. Makoto breaks the ice by asking, Hey Gal, I notice you keep staring in that window. Gal looks angry. What of it? Makoto continues, I was just wondering if it's because your father's watching. I made a promise to my father to win this fight too, so I suppose I can respect that. Gal turns from angry to utterly furious. My father is none of your concern! Dronza flies up into the air and crashes down above Dragoon. Ardor Arrow! It crashes down, breaking the ground of the stadium as Dragoon MSUV slides out of the way, trying to keep balance. Makoto looks in panic. Too close. Gal keeps talking. Don't you ever ask me about my father again. Never! Dronza charges forward, tearing up the ground, making Dragoon jump out of the way, up and onto the great dragon statue. I won't let you interfere, Gal says as he attacks the tail of the Dragoon statue, cutting off Makoto's way down with a big bang. With my goal, Gal adds as he uses one of the broken rocks to jump onto the Phoenix statue, putting Dragoon within his sights on the other side. Makoto looks determined, and I won't let you interfere with my girl either. Dragoon turns around, aiming for battle as Makoto calls out, Go Dragoon! Gal screams out angrily with Dronza, charging forth. You're through! The two blades collide mid-air, pushing each other back to their respective statues with a big clash. Kenny looks on saying, This is madness! The blades keep clashing like that, over and over. Kenny is stunned. He's trying to fight him head on. Makoto looks worn out, calling, Keep going, Dragoon! Gal looks furious. Destroy him! Dronza! They keep doing their clashes as Kenny looks really worried. He's wasting all of his energy. Makoto falls to his knees from exhaustion, breathing heavily as Dragoon gets sent flying back into the dragon statue that keeps being torn down from the impact of Gal's attack. Dragoon falls to the ground in a big clash of smoke. Rin and Nori get up worried. Oh no! Gal laughs at the spectacle he's seeing, Dragoon wobbling amongst the rubble after the smoke clears. He comments mockingly, You sure are stubborn. Do you really want to be world champion that bad? Makoto breathes heavily and struggles, getting up with his legs shaking. I don't just want to be. I will be, Makoto says, looking up with a cocky smile. Wipe that smile off your face, Gal says, striking into Dragoon violently, with sparks flying and a tiny piece flying off. Makoto hauls off with all he's got, flying back as Gal speaks. Don't you understand? Gal swings his arms fanatically. Don't you understand? I can't lose this! Dronza strikes into Dragoon once again. The journey to my goal is not gonna stop here because of a pathetic, dreaming pretender like you. Rin and Nori look shocked. Tyson stares on silently. Gal moves back and charges forth with Dronza at full force, screaming, I won't lose to you! As Dronza is attacking full force, the attack is suddenly blocked. Makoto stands with his arms crossed and moves them down. I have a dream too. I have to win. Suddenly, Dragoon strikes Dronza away, making distance. Gao looks awestruck. Kenny looks on in surprise, thinking, can he actually do it? Makoto looks at Gao with fierce, angry eyes. I think the time has come. He raises his arm into the air, saying, it's time I showed you my true power. Gao looks back at him as if he's just been insulted. What? You're claiming you haven't been fighting me all out? What a desperate load of bullshit. Makoto seems sincere. I'm sorry, but my father didn't have the time to teach me anything but this, and I promised to only use it at the right time. Makoto starts channeling his energy into his blade as Gao looks on. Oh, your father taught you something, did he? Isn't that cute? Well, my father never taught me anything, not a damn thing. I taught myself. That's why I'm going to become stronger, so strong I can surpass and defeat even him. Dragoon lights up as Makoto speaks with a blue aura surrounding him. Guess we're not so different after all. That's why I've decided to show you my special move. Gao smiles mockingly. Special move, huh? Well, try your best. Suddenly, Dronza charges up, getting into full power again. I've seen it all. Storm attacks, wave attacks. It's not gonna make any difference. Makoto smiles smugly. You've never seen an attack like this one before. Makoto's eyes shine with fire. No one has. Go! Dragoon! Dragoon starts spinning in circles really fast around the stadium, building up a storm while Dronza spins in the centre. Gao calls out mockingly. I already told you, I've seen those stupid hurricanes before. That's nothing new. You're out of energy. You're acting out of desperation. Gao swings his arm to the side angrily. Admit it! You're finished. Makoto stares down seriously. I'm just getting started. Dragoon MSUV suddenly moves out of the hurricane with a ball of wind in front of it. Kenny jumps up in shock. What the? Gao steps back in surprise at the strange attack. Why, you... Dronza charges forth and Dragoon dodges, moving up to the side with that ball of wind as Makoto is screaming. Storm hammer attack! Suddenly, Dronza is slammed away, full force. Kenny's jaw drops looking at his computer, thinking, that's impossible. Gao looks on in shock and panics. Dronza! Counter-attack! Dronza charges forth, facing Dragoon with that shield of wind as the shield pushes forth and Dronza is being slammed away. Kenny watches the computer, sweating like crazy. Makoto's attack and defense just became twice as powerful. Dragoon chases after Dronza, hitting it once again. Go Dragoon! Kenny studies it, and Tyson smiles, looking very proud. Want me to explain? Tyson explains it as they watch Dragoon chasing, beating Dronza around. You see, I came up with this idea, to create a shield of wind around your bay. That way, each time you're making an impact, the opponent is first hit by the wind, then by the bay itself. It's like you're doubling its attack power in one swell swoop. Not only that, it nullifies the attack of the opponent to only half its strength if he strikes the side where the ball of wind is at. That's the unstoppable storm hammer. Gao is struggling fighting against Makoto in complete horror. Tyson continues talking to flashbacks of the events. It was really hard to master, so we stayed up all night working on it. Then we came up with a plan. Because the storm hammer only works for a short period of time, I had to teach him to channel his energy into Dragoon. Then, I laid out the only way he could beat Gao. Go all out straight from the start, and give him this false idea that you're stronger than he thinks. Then, completely surprise him by calling out Dragoon very early on, like you're the one trying to defeat him quickly. That's the last thing he'd expect. Then when he's cornered, we count on his ego to make him panic, wasting his strongest attack right there and there to end it quickly. The moment Makoto survived his spiral furnace, I knew it was only a matter of time before he'd win. Tyson smiles, big finishing. The only thing that was left was enduring his coming attacks, because at that point, he'd not be sure whether he's fighting a strong opponent or a really stupid one. He'll not go all out until he regains his sense, thus you're safe. But the moment you feel like you're at your limit, you channel your energy into Dragoon, giving it more spinning power that he wouldn't have expected. Then, you unleash the trump card, your special attack that no one could have seen coming in a million years. Kenny looks on in awe. That's incredible. This is history. This is Beyblading history. Rin and Nori get up cheering him on. You're amazing, Makoto. Do it. Beat him. Tyson gets up shouting too. Do it, son. The crowd starts shouting Makoto, Makoto, Makoto. Daichi lifts his mic in utter amazement. This is epic. What a comeback. The underdog that was expected to lose has turned the entire tide and the entire crowd to his side. This is one of the biggest turn of events I've ever seen. Kai's eyes shone watching, looking kind of disappointed. Gao. Gao struggles against the unstoppable storm hammer, eventually looking up at the window furiously. I'm not weak. He then looks down at the stadium screaming, I'm not some weakling. Makoto looks slightly surprised. Gao? Gao turns into complete madness shouting, I'll show you, Spiral Furnace! Suddenly, beyond all odds, Gao charges his blade stronger with his anger, managing to summon up another special attack. Tyson looks shocked, not expecting this, thinking, he could still attack? Makoto looks on with determination, thinking, I need to finish this. Gao screams out, charging forth, You bastard! Dragoon charges forth and Dronzo dodges his attack, cutting Dragoon slightly with the side of his flame whips. Go Dragoon! Dragoon charges forth, again, Dronzo dodging, doing the same thing. Daichi is sweating bullets, speaking, Is Gao regaining the advantage? Gao makes another dodge, strikes into Dragoon, slightly removing the air shield around it. Makoto looks worried. Damn it! Rin looks horrified. This is bad. You're a really great blader, Gao, Makoto adds in preparation, as he tries to make up another storm hammer. Gao starts laughing, going after him. I have you now! Gao charges forth with his spiral furnace in high gear. Game over. The circle spins really fast as Gao charges into it full force, when suddenly it disappears, and nothing but the wind is there, and no Dragoon blade is to be seen. Gao looks confused, thinking, it's gone? DJ Daichi is confused too as he picks up the mic and says, And the winner is... When suddenly, Dragoon is charging down from the sky at high speed. Makoto smiles. I dedicate this attack to you, Gao. The blade charges the wind around it down, falling with extra power. Kenny gets excited. This is amazing! Makoto swings his hand down and calls its name. Sky Drop! As the wind supercharges the blade to strike right down with even more force onto Dronza in full spiral furnace mood. Dronza is plunged into the Dronza statue, making a huge bulge into it and making it drop down like a rock. After that, everyone tensely waits for the smoke to clear. And as it does, Dronza has stopped spinning and Dragoon wobbles in the centre of the stadium. Daichi takes the mic and screams out with all he has, And the winner is Makoto! Everybody cheers like crazy. Rin screams out, He did it! He really did it! Nori cries with happiness. I've never seen something so incredible in my entire life. Kenny looks on completely stunned. To think, even when the plan didn't work, he invented a new attack in the heat of the moment, turning it around. Kenny smiles happily. You truly are a great blader, Makoto Granger. Makoto walks up to the broken down Gao, hunching down to pick up his blade. Even after all this training, I'm still not strong enough. Makoto reaches his hand towards Gao. You fought a really great match. In fact, the final attack was even inspired by your Ardor Arrow. I really couldn't have won if you hadn't inspired me. Gao looks up at him with a mixture of anger and sorrow. I don't need your pity, Makoto Granger. Gao gets his blade and starts walking away. You won this fight fair and square. You're the winner, I'm the loser. That's all there is to it. Makoto scratches behind his head and tries to give a few last words as he walks away. Gao, I honestly don't think you're the blader you set yourself up to be. When we first fought, you talked about bladers that claim big things that they seemingly can never accomplish. But after listening to you during this match, and your desire to surpass your father, I think we're more alike than you like to admit. Gao continues walking on, pretending he didn't hear it. And once he's far enough away that he can't be heard, he whispers to himself in anger, We are nothing alike. Meanwhile in Russia, Tala watches from the shadows. That boy, Makoto, looks like he could eventually evolve into somewhat of a nuisance for us. What do you think, Yaroslav? Another character in the shadows is speaking in a dark voice, looking at the screen. Damn you, Gao. First, you run away because you're too weak to ever make the cut. Then you go lose to a 2-bit nobody, embarrassing all of us in front of the entire world. Tyler turns around, speaking to the shadow character. Never be too quick to underestimate your opponent. The shadow figure starts walking away calmly. Just quit your lecturing. You're always acting as if there's someone out there worth defeating, yet you keep me in the Abbey year after year. Why? Tyler continues, looking at the screen. Yaroslav, you have more power than any blader we've ever trained. We've trained world champion after world champion, yet none of them could ever compare to you. But you know very well what would happen if I unleash you to the world. You possess unimaginable strength. Beyond your own control, do you realize what chaos you would cause if you unleash yourself loose in a tournament like you tend to do? Yaroslav stands behind the door, his eyes filled with madness. So let them perish. I couldn't care less. I'm tired of these weaklings and their special needs. They shouldn't even be in the same room, in the same dome as me, if they aren't strong enough to survive it. I know. I should be the one at the top of the world. And you know that too. Yaroslav finishes before leaving. Tyler closes his eyes and sighs, thinking, who knows, someday soon you might just be. Back in Japan, Makoto is given the mic, smiling big, and Daichi asks, so Makoto, is there something you'd like to say to the audience there at home, and to the people watching today after your stunning victory? Makoto giggles and takes the mic. Yes, after today's battle with Gao, I realised I've been dreaming too small. That's why I want to announce to the whole world, I'm going to be world champion and surpass my father Tyson Granger as the greatest blader in all of history. Makoto screams out at the top of his lungs. Literally everyone in the room drops their jaws, even Daichi getting a bit queasy. Among the audience of shocked people lies the unaffected random guy sleeping there. He wakes up looking around stupidly. Huh? Did I miss something? Rin is laughing at the statement and Nori facepalms, adding, that's Makoto for you, alright. Just when you think he couldn't say anything more ridiculous. Kenny is shocked and unsure how he feels. He looks at Tyson. Tyson, how do you feel about this? Surely you don't think he's serious. Tyson shrugs his shoulders, laughing. Honestly, if he aimed for anything less, I'd question if we were even related. Kai, watching from the VIP room, gets up from his chair, thinking he's seen enough. Spencer speaks. I'm sorry, sir. Surely if Gao had just used Jonza Just shut up. Kai silences him, being in a slightly bad mood. Tyson looks up at the VIP room as Kenny is ranting. Well, I don't know about the beating you stuff, but I sure am excited to coach this new team. The BBA Legacy. Kenny continues ranting. I'm feeling like I'm getting my blader spirit back for the first time in a very, very long time. What do you think, Tyson? Kenny turns around only to find that Tyson is gone. Tyson? 3 executive types are following Kai, bothering him in hallways. Our ratings are marvellous. I've never seen anything like it, sir. The second one goes on. And to use former world champion Daichi Sumeragi as DJ, it was a stroke of genius. The third one pulls this long paper. We're making a fortune here, Mr. Hiwatari. We should set up Makoto for some commercials and maybe a toy. Kai turns around angrily, looking at them. Get lost already. They bow and sneak away, looking scared. Of course, sir. Sorry, sir. As they leave, Tyson shows up behind him as Kai states, like I don't have more important things to do. Tyson chimes in with a smile. That makes 2 of us, Kai. Kai turns around in surprise, staring him down. Tyson. Tyson looks curious. I'm sorry your kid lost, Kai. I understand if you're upset. Maybe you should go after him just to see if he's okay. Kai answers, looking away. That's none of your concern, Tyson. He'll be alright. Besides, if I went after him now, it would only add insult to injury. Tyson sighs. Perhaps you're right. Watching their battle sure brought back some great memories though. Tyson's face suddenly shines up with a hint of nostalgia. To think, there was a time where we were just like them. Kai corrects his tie. Tyson, I have no intention of discussing the past with you. Kai starts walking away, trying to hold something in. Deep beneath the surface, Tyson feels it too. Kai smiles to himself. Perhaps someday. Tyson smiles too. Someday soon. As Kai leaves, Tyson thinks, Kai, you haven't changed a bit. As Kai leaves completely, the echo of their bladed spirit shouts through the hall, and the shadows of their former selves battling also appears. Tyson finishes the chapter with the words, and someday soon, I promise you, we'll have our final rematch. And that's how the chapter ends. I hope you guys liked it, as we did our absolute best to finish this arc with a bang. Be sure to stay tuned for the next upcoming arc, the Red Fang arc. Be sure to subscribe and check our development group in the description if you're an artist, narrator, or anyone that would like to help us work on this. We'll move on to the next arc as soon as possible. Anyway, until then, keep it real and let it rip.